Genesis, the first book of the Bible, is a story of beginnings. It tells us how the world began, how humanity came into being, and how our relationship with God has shaped history. Its title, Genesis, means beginning or origin. This book lays the foundation for understanding the entire Bible and the core beliefs of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Genesis is divided into two main parts: primeval history and patriarchal history. Primeval history narrates the creation of the universe, the first humans, and early civilizations. This section sets the stage for the Bible's grand narrative of God's interaction with humanity. Patriarchal history focuses on the lives of Abraham and his descendants, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. These individuals are considered the patriarchs of the Israelites, and their stories are central to understanding the development of the Israelite nation. The book of Genesis is not just a collection of ancient stories. It grapples with profound questions about the nature of God, the meaning of human existence, and the consequences of our choices. It explores themes of creation, sin, judgment, covenant, and redemption, which resonate throughout the Bible and continue to shape our understanding of the world today. Genesis opens with the majestic words, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." In a rhythmic and orderly fashion, God speaks, and the universe comes into being. Day by day, God creates light, separates the waters, forms the land and sea, and fills them with life. He creates the sun, moon, and stars to govern the day and night. The seas teem with creatures, birds soar through the air, and animals roam the earth. Finally, God creates humanity in his own image. On the seventh day, God rests, declaring his work complete. After creating the world, God plants a beautiful garden called Eden. It is a paradise where everything is perfect and harmonious. Adam, the first human, is placed in the garden to tend it and enjoy its bounty. However, he is not alone. God creates Eve, the first woman, from Adam's rib. They live together in innocence and freedom, enjoying a close relationship with God. However, their idyllic existence is shattered when they disobey God's one command, not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Tempted by the serpent, Eve eats the forbidden fruit and gives some to Adam. Their eyes are opened, and they become aware of their nakedness and shame. Sin enters the world, disrupting the harmony of creation and fracturing their relationship with God. As a consequence of their disobedience, Adam and Eve are banished from the Garden of Eden. They face pain in childbirth, toil in the fields, and ultimately, death. The consequences of their sin extend beyond themselves, affecting all of humanity and the natural world. Adam and Eve have two sons, Cain and Abel. Cain, the firstborn, is a farmer, while Abel is a shepherd. Both brothers offer sacrifices to God, but God favors Abel's offering over Cain's. Consumed by jealousy and anger, Cain murders his brother Abel. This act of violence marks a further descent into sin and its devastating consequences. God confronts Cain, asking, "Where is Abel, your brother?" Cain's evasive response, "Am I my brother's keeper?" reveals his lack of remorse and responsibility. God punishes Cain by cursing the ground he works and making him a restless wanderer on the earth. Despite his sin, God shows mercy by placing a mark on Cain to protect him from being killed. The story of Cain and Abel highlights the destructive power of sin and its impact on human relationships. Section 5. Noah's Ark, a world awash. As generations pass, sin continues to spread throughout the earth. Humanity becomes increasingly wicked and violence fills the land. God, grieved by the corruption of his creation, decides to send a great flood to cleanse the earth. However, God finds one righteous man, Noah, and his family. He instructs Noah to build an ark, a massive vessel, to preserve himself, his family, and two of every kind of animal from the coming deluge. For 40 days and 40 nights, rain falls upon the earth, submerging everything beneath the waters. All living creatures outside the ark perish. After the floodwaters recede, Noah, his family, and the animals emerge from the ark to repopulate the earth. God establishes a covenant with Noah, promising never again to destroy the earth by flood. The rainbow becomes a sign of this covenant, a reminder of God's mercy and his promise to preserve life. Section 6. The Tower of Babel. Humanity's lofty ambition. After the flood, humanity begins to repopulate the earth, but their unity is short-lived. They migrate eastward and settle in the land of Shinar, where they decide to build a city and a tower that reaches to the heavens. Their motivation is driven by pride and a desire to make a name for themselves. They want to be independent of God, relying on their own strength and ingenuity. God sees their arrogance and confounds their language, creating a multitude of tongues that prevent them from understanding each other. Unable to communicate, they abandon their project and scatter across the earth. The story of the Tower of Babel explains the diversity of languages and cultures in the world. It also serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of pride, ambition, and rebellion against God. Human attempts to reach heaven through human effort alone are doomed to fail. Section 7. Abraham's Journey, a Test of Faith. With the story of Abraham, Genesis transitions from primeval history to patriarchal history. Abraham, originally named Abram, is called by God to leave his homeland and journey to a new land that God will show him. This call demands immense faith, as Abram must leave behind his family, his country, and his familiar way of life. Yet he trusts in God's promise to make him a great nation and to bless him. God establishes a covenant with Abram, promising to make him the father of many nations and to give his descendants the land of Canaan as their inheritance. As a sign of this covenant, God changes Abram's name to Abraham, meaning father of many, and commands him to circumcise all the males in his household. Abraham's faith is tested throughout his life, most notably when God commands him to sacrifice his son, Isaac. Abraham's willingness to obey God, even when it seems unbearable, demonstrates his unwavering trust and obedience. Section 8. Isaac, Jacob, and Esau, a family's trials. The covenant established with Abraham continues with his son Isaac and grandson Jacob. Isaac, born to Abraham and Sarah in their old age, is a man of peace and quiet strength. He marries Rebekah, and they have twin sons, Esau and Jacob. Esau, the firstborn, is a skilled hunter and his father's favorite. Jacob, the younger son, is more domestic and favored by his mother. The rivalry between the brothers leads to deception and conflict within the family. Jacob, with his mother's help, tricks his father into giving him the blessing that rightfully belongs to Esau. Fearful of Esau's anger, Jacob flees to his uncle Laban's house, where he works for many years and marries his two daughters, Leah and Rachel. After many trials and reconciliations, Jacob returns to his homeland, where he is reunited with Esau. God renews the covenant with Jacob, changing his name to Israel, meaning he who strives with God. Section 9. Joseph and his brothers, from betrayal to forgiveness. Jacob's favorite wife, Rachel, gives birth to Joseph. Joseph's brothers, jealous of his favored status and his prophetic dreams, sell him into slavery in Egypt. Despite this betrayal, Joseph prospers in Egypt, rising to a position of power and influence. Years later, a severe famine strikes the land of Canaan. Jacob sends his sons to Egypt to buy grain, unaware that the powerful official they encounter is their long-lost brother Joseph. Joseph tests his brothers, eventually revealing his identity and forgiving them for their past actions. He brings his entire family to Egypt, where they settle in the land of Goshen, escaping the famine and prospering under Joseph's protection. The story of Joseph and his brothers highlights themes of forgiveness, reconciliation, and God's providence. Even in the midst of human sin and suffering, God works to bring about his purposes. Section 10. Enduring Themes, Echoes of Genesis. The book of Genesis, though written centuries ago, continues to resonate with readers today. Its stories explore timeless themes that transcend time and culture. Creation. The creation narrative affirms God's sovereignty and power. It instills a sense of awe and wonder at the natural world. Sin. From the Garden of Eden to the Tower of Babel, Genesis depicts the pervasive nature of sin. Human pride and disobedience lead to broken relationships and suffering. Judgment. God's judgment is a recurring theme in Genesis. He judges the wickedness of humanity with the flood and the Tower of Babel. Covenant. God establishes covenants with Noah and Abraham. These covenants reveal God's faithfulness and love. Redemption. Even in the midst of sin and judgment, Genesis offers glimpses of God's redemptive power. He works through Joseph to save his family from famine. The book of Genesis is a timeless testament to the enduring power of faith and the boundless love of God.